Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. Happy weekend. I figured I'd get up early and knock this out so that we can go about our day. It is a busy day, and sometimes when I go do my errands, go to my grandson's basketball game, by the time I get back here, I don't want to do this. I haven't been here in a couple of weeks, so a lot has been going on. Like so much has been going on. Like I just ran out of room for all of the clips because it's like so much information. And what we try to do, me and other people who come on here and talk about politics, we try to have enough video footage so that if you don't believe the words that are coming out of my mouth, you can actually believe the people who are saying the things. Like it's evidence. They act as exhibits. But anyway, we're gonna jump right in because again, there was a lot going on in the past couple of weeks. I'm not gonna get to everything, but I'm gonna try to get to the most important things. But before I do, grab your coffee, like and subscribe to this channel, like this video. Even if you don't like this video, you know what? Hit the thumbs up anyway. You don't have to come back. It's okay. Anyway, so let's get started. You should all know, unless you've been living under a rock or in a cave, that we are at war with Iran. Technically, it's not a war. Like, when people who don't follow politics call me, they ask, are we at war? And it's like, yeah, we're at war. I mean, Trump and his folks are calling it war. Sometimes it's like a conflict. I guess the thing is, we're not really at war because Congress has not approved a war, right? So that's the technical part of it all, but we're at war. We've started a war. It is a war of choice, and it's a war of Donald Trump's choice. This is his choosing, something that he wanted to do. And as a result of this war of choice, 6 military servicemen and a woman have died from this war of choice. No one knows why we're at war. We're getting so many different excuses or reasons. Maybe this is why they didn't go to Congress, because they can't justify it. And also, Donald Trump doesn't care to go to Congress. He's just going to do whatever he wants to do. So they're saying, some of the things that they're saying is Iran was an imminent threat. Unclear what the imminent threat was. Sometimes they infer that it's the nuclear weapons. They were on the verge, but I'm not sure how they were on the verge of completing their nuclear missions if Donald Trump bombed them, if you don't recall, some months ago, and said that they obliterated Iran's capacity to make nuclear weapons. So how are they an imminent threat if, hi in the chat, there's someone in the chat. Thank you for showing up. It's very early in the morning, so thank you for being here. So I don't know how Iran was an imminent threat if months ago they bombed Iran's nuclear facility. They said that it was obliterated. That was the word that Trump used. I mean, I'm saying these things not that I believe this administration, because I believe nothing. I'm just saying what they have said, because I believe everything that this administration says is a lie, omission, or admission. Like, it's just some of those things are a projection. So you never really get the truth. So that's one of the things that they said. They were an imminent threat. The other part of that also is that imminent threat, they don't have weapons that can get to the US. Like, we're not threatened by Iran by any of their weapons. So that's also a thing. They also said that, I'm gonna let you know what? Let's hear from their mouths. Let's hear from Marco Rubio. Oh, before we hear from Marco Rubio, before the bombing, before the first bombs that America dropped, mind you, one of the first bombs hit a school and children have died. But they're not talking about that part right there. They don't know anything about that, but that is the reporting. But prior to the first bomb, let's see what Donald Trump was up to, shall we? Let's do that. That's a good idea. Put your hands up. Again, this is before the strikes on Iran. This is what was going on. I'm gonna push you. You're gonna push me out. So I don't want to play the whole thing because I don't know about the music thing and getting in trouble for playing an actual song on YouTube. But this is Donald Trump having a party, $1 million a plate party at Mar-a-Lago prior to strikes on Iran. Let's go fast forward. We gotta go work. I gotta go to work. Yeah, so before the war of choice, he had a $1 million a plate party. Then he goes into the Mar-a-Lago situation room. You know, I don't know if you've seen the picture. He's in the situation room with black curtains separating, I don't know, the party and the room. And he looks like he's half sleeping, actually trying to recreate Obama's situation room because, you know, Trump is just trying to chase that Obama swag and he just cannot do it. So that's what he was doing prior to striking an Iranian school. War of choice. 6 soldiers are dead because of this. And again, like I said, yet time change. I am all over the place with times. I just come on. Sorry, talking to someone in the chat. I just come on when I have the time to come on. Like, it's just, I'm all over the place. And so are my words. So let's listen to Rubio explain why we are at war with Iran.
Congress have to weigh in. Is the president defensible and does Congress have to weigh in? And was there an imminent threat? Did you tell lawmakers that there was an imminent threat?
There absolutely was an imminent threat, and the imminent threat was that we knew that if Iran was attacked, and we believed they would be attacked, that they would immediately come after us. And we were not going to sit there and absorb a blow before we responded, because the Department of War assessed that if we did that, if we waited for them.
So this is what Rubio is saying, because we're not at war with Iran alone. Also, it's Israel. And just to further clarify that, right, because Jewish people are not celebrating this war, it's Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump who came up with this idea. So Rubio is saying that because he believed that Israel was going to strike Iran, that in turn Iran would then strike America. So we had to strike Iran before all of that. Like, it doesn't even make sense. What is this mumbo jumbo? Like, I'll let him tell it again. Just listen to it. It really doesn't make sense. But MAGA go, oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense. It just doesn't make any sense. But let's let him say it again. Let's start all over.
Does Congress have to weigh in? Does Congress have to weigh in? Is the president declaring an election, and does Congress have to weigh in? And was there an imminent threat? Did you tell lawmakers that there was an imminent
There
threat?
absolutely was an imminent threat, and the imminent threat was that we knew that if Iran was attacked, and we believed they would be attacked, that they would immediately come after us. And we were not going to sit there and absorb a blow before we responded, because the Department of War assessed that if we did that, if we waited for them to hit us first after they were attacked, and by someone else, Israel attacked them, they hit us first, and we waited for them to hit us, we would suffer more casualties and more deaths. We went proactively in a defensive way to prevent them from inflicting higher damage. Had we not done so, there would have been hearings on Capitol Hill about how we knew that this was going to happen, and we didn't act preemptively to prevent more casualties and more loss of life.
So here's the thing. So, not saying that Iran is not a horrible place. Not saying that the Ayatollah was not a horrible person. He is dead now, dead in these strikes. Not saying that he wasn't horrible. Not saying that they didn't need a regime change. But who are we? Who are we? What did we just, we're the regime change folks? Like, why aren't we in Russia? Because Russia needs a regime change. Putin needs to get out of there. It's like, why are we picking and choosing? And why do you just, come out of the sky because Trump has a feeling? Because that's another thing that they said too, amongst all of these changing reasons, is Trump had a feeling that he needed to do this, that we were going to get struck. So, like, why are we just like, when Trump has a whim to just go into someone else's country and just take out their president or their prime minister because they're like, we don't like them, we don't like what they're doing? Like, what if someone tried to do that to us? I mean, wouldn't be a bad thing, but like, seriously, like, why are we doing this? And then without congressional approval, so that we have a clear reason for it. What is the reason? And then on top of this, it's like, it's haphazard because you left Americans over in the Middle East. You just left them. You're just like, we're just going to start bombing, and did not work on getting the Americans out. Oh, excuse me. Wait a minute. He did get some Americans out. He got the TikToker Nick Shirley out. You don't know who Nick Shirley is? He is the guy that went to Minnesota and lied on the Somalians, and that started ICE going to Minnesota and, the whole set of events, right? He got out, and a White House advisor got out, and the girlfriends or the friends or whoever else on Donald Trump's private jet. Meanwhile, thousands of Americans on vacation in Dubai and all these other places are stranded. You are the U.S. government. You cannot tell me that you couldn't have gotten in touch with these Americans before you started bombing the Middle East. What is happening? They are still stranded. There are many still stranded. And I saw interviews of people who are stranded saying, yes, we called the embassy. They asked if we were hurt. No. Then they said, go to the website where you're not getting any information. And then part of the problem is Donald Trump left a lot of the ambassador jobs in the Middle East open. He never got anyone there. So lawmakers have no one to even try to contact. So you have Americans in the Middle East stranded who are like, some are probably still paying for hotel rooms. Hopefully the hotels are letting them stay for free, but they don't know when they're getting home. That is a very scary and dire situation when you hear bombs overhead. Like, I cannot imagine such a thing, all because Donald Trump had a feeling. And now we're in a war of choice because Donald Trump had a feeling. And then it gets even more disgusting, right? Like, as if this isn't disgusting enough, it gets even more disgusting and gross. They asked Donald Trump, and again, I didn't have all the space for all the videos that I wanted to put on here, but they did ask him about, casualties and American casualties because of this war of choice. And basically him and Hegseth said the same thing. It's like, it's war. People are going to die. It's the bad thing, but it is what it is. Like, just really casual about death. And they're so casual about death that the White House put out a video. I don't know if you saw it. I am sorry, it didn't have any room to put it, but it's a video that has Iran, them striking Iran, mixed together with, I think it's Call of Duty video. So like a video game and actual strikes on Iran, like with hip hop music, to hip hop music. Like, this is a game. They're treating this like a game, like the military men and women are like pieces on a board, like toys. Like, they get so excited. They've been dying. Hegseth has been dying to order people to go fight. They love this. He's talking about submarine attacks and everything else. Listen, again, let's let Pete Hegseth talk. And you can't ask them any serious questions because they don't like that. That's when they get defensive.
One for the chairman when you're done.
Let me start all over.
Or is there a concern of this spiraling into a longer war? And then one for the chairman when you're done.
Did you not hear my remarks? I mean, we're ensuring the mission gets accomplished, but we're very clear-eyed, as the president has been, unlike other presidents, about the foolish policies of the past that recklessly pulled us in to things that were not tethered to actual clear objectives. So we know we have plans, we have generals, we have chairmans, we have commanders, CENTCOM commanders, Admiral Cooper.
He said not tethered to objectives, wars of the past. Excuse me? We don't know what the objective is right now. What is the objective? Put it in the chat if y'all have heard what the objective is, because I have not heard it to date. Why are we there? Is it the protesters being murdered? Because yes, that is a bad thing. But what is this that is going on? The Ayatollah is dead, and there's no one who is running Iran right now. That is nuts. The sun may step up, but then Trump is talking bad about the sun. How does that help us? How are we going to win this war? When is this war won? It's like, it's like they don't have common sense. And this is the thing where they're like DEI, black and brown people, women are stupid. They don't know. They just been put in this position. No, Hegseth is the ultimate DEI. No, Trump is the ultimate. These are just a bunch of privileged white men who have no idea what they're doing, because bombing from the sky is not winning a war. Yes, you are destroying Iran and knocking down some capabilities and buildings and structures and killing some people, but how is that winning a war? Because you know what Iran is going to do? They are going to unleash sleeper cells. That is how they fight. How do you stop that? How do you stop the people that are going to go into a subway, right? Terrorists, and blow it up? Because that is what's going to happen as a result of this war of choice. Because prior to the bombing, if you recall, Donald Trump had Jared Kushner, who does not work for the administration, and his friend Kushner and I can't remember the guy's name. He's Donald Trump's best friend, going around the Middle East for peace in the Middle East and had these peace talks with Iran. I saw the prime minister of Iran. He was on MSN Now, Morning Joe, and he was talking about the peace talks. And he said, yeah, we're getting close. No, we don't want to do whatever with nuclear bombs. No, because remember, there was a peace deal. There was a nuclear arms deal that Obama had, right? That they weren't to make whatever they were making. We were supposed to be able to go in and check whatever. Donald Trump ripped that up and said, we're going to make a new deal. So that is what Jared Kushner and Witkoff was supposed to be doing. According to this prime minister, they had been getting closer, right? So in the middle of these talks, that is when Donald Trump struck them. So like, they got to be mad because at this point, they're going to unleash fury. Trump and Hegseth think because we have all of the ballistic missiles and all of these important things. And of course, we dominate in that space. But we were the Department of Defense for a reason. We don't use them unless we are defending ourselves. See, that's why they wanted to change it to the Department of War, because they don't care. It's not defending anymore. We're just going to start wars because we can, because we are the tough guys, because we got the biggest balls on the court. Like, that's how they think about it. Meanwhile, Americans will suffer because there will be terrorist attacks. There's no question about it. And Donald Trump was asked about it. And like I told you, he had this cavalier approach of like, people die in war, whatever. Now, like I said, it gets worse. Worse than them putting out Iran strikes mixed together with Call of Duty video games, right? That's bad. But then it even gets worse. We find out that Russia, because Putin was friends with the Ayatollah, Iran's supreme leader. That was Putin's buddy. So Putin has been feeding Iran location of American assets so that they can bomb it. You can't make this up, but it makes sense because MAGA got it all twisted. Russia is not our friend. Russia is not our friend. Putin is not our friend. They are not allies. Donald Trump got y'all fucked up. Just because Donald Trump wants to be Putin and a dictator, and he's afraid of Putin because maybe Putin has something on him. I'm unclear about that, so I cannot say it, but it is something that Donald Trump cannot say anything bad about Putin. And Putin is a dictator. Putin kills his own people. Putin, if you run against Putin, you die. If you speak about Putin in the streets, you get jailed. That is where a regime change needs to be, but Trump won't touch them. Even when he found out, you know what? Let's let Trump tell you what he said after he found out that Russia is feeding Iran information. Let's just let him talk about that.
People also want to know,
Here we go.
is there a concern of this spiraling into a longer war? And then one for the chairman when you're done.
Did you not hear my remarks?
Oh, wrong one. Hold. Sorry, guys. Yeah, Donald Trump says it's not a war, then they call it a war. It's all over the place. What are we talking about?
That's an easy problem.
Here we go.
Are helping Iran target and attack Americans now.
That's an easy problem compared to what we're doing here. I mean, but can I be honest? It's just, I have a lot of respect for you. You've always been very nice to me. What a stupid question that is to be asked.
It is a stupid question about Russia giving Iran locations of our assets. How is that ever a stupid question? That is a serious question because our American troops lives are on the line and we're laughing about it and we're treating it like a game. That's a stupid question. Yeah, it's a stupid question because he's never going to say anything bad about Putin. Ever, never, 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 never. He cannot do it.
At this time, we're talking about something else. Can we keep this maybe a little bit?
It's just crazy. War choice, because we got to stop talking about the Epstein, right? That's the thing. We don't want to talk about the Epstein thing. So while this war is going on, what does the Justice Department do? They release some more of the information, specifically the information that Democrats found missing, right? Those missing interviews that woman said that she was sexually abused and assaulted by Donald Trump when she was 13 or 14 years old. They had hid that information, and that was the talk of the town right before this war, right? But see, what happened was Bondi was about to get that subpoena. They had already given that information to some of their, pro-MAGA podcasts, right? It was about to come out. So they had to give up that information. We can read some of that interview as well. It was hard to read. Well, you know what? Let me back up. Before we get to Epstein, let's talk about the cost of this war, because for Republicans, MAGA, to complain so much about the cost of things, right? Before this, they were against the wars, against all of the wars. America first. Unclear how this is America first when Ukraine needed help. Now, Ukraine, right? Russia just, said, I'm just going to try to take all of your land, and started a war with Ukraine. And Ukraine is literally fighting for democracy and fighting so that Putin doesn't take Ukraine and then take Poland and whatever other NATO nations. We don't want to help them. MAGA's like, yeah, we don't want a war. It's not our war. But all of a sudden, we're in Iran. MAGA's like, oh, no, that's cool. We're okay with that. Like, they're all over the place and none of it makes sense. Now, guess what's happening? Gas prices are going up. Every day after the war, gas prices have gone up. You can't deny it. It's going to happen. And as long as we are at war with Iran, or whatever you want to call it, conflict, prices are going up. Not only are prices going up, and this isn't because of the war, we've lost 92,000 jobs, right? Of course we have. Unemployment is up. Of course it is. Where are the manufacturing jobs that Donald Trump promised everybody, right? Because that's what he ran on. When he was like, immigration policies, deport everyone, tariffs. We're doing tariffs because we're bringing the jobs here, bringing all the jobs back to America. Are we now? Because we lost 92,000 jobs. Where are the manufacturing jobs that Donald Trump said that America was gonna make? We're gonna do all these things here. He's not doing anything anywhere other than somewhere else, right? Argentina, what did they get? He bailed them out, sent them millions and millions of money, or was it billions? Don't even know, but he bailed them out. We went over to Venezuela, started bombing them, bombing ships here and there. We took the Honduran president, or was it I can't even remember. Like, he's doing so much, and nothing is benefiting us. None of it is benefiting us. I can't even keep up with what is going on because he's got so much going on. But nothing here that's making up for these 92,000 job losses, the high price of gas, the high price of goods. And if gas prices are going up, that means goods are going to be even higher than they are now, because they're pretty high now, but they're going to go up because, hey, trucks are using gas to deliver your goods, right? So if the price of gas is up, then the price of your goods are going to go up. That's just how it works. Back to the pedophile. The Department of Justice did release those interviews that were missing initially, right before they started this war of choice. That was like a lot of talking. It was the person that gave these interviews to the FBI and said that she was sexually abused and assaulted by Donald Trump. I'm also going to add that Donald Trump's name is mentioned in the Epstein file over 1 million times. He comes in third to Epstein, Ghislaine, and then Donald Trump as mentions in there. I don't know. You can call it a coincidence if you want. That doesn't make sense. If you're just a fly by night, I've gone to an Epstein party, but I've never gone again kind of guy, or I've been to the island, I was like, yuck, I didn't go again. You're not mentioned 1 million times. You're just not. You're not going to be accused by a woman who said that she was raped at the age of 13 or 14. So here's a part of the interview. This is interview number 2. This is from August 7th, 2019. Again, this is really hard for me to read. If you go on to the website, the federal docket or whatever, you can find these things. She says, let's see. Trump unzipped his pants, put her head down to his penis. There's redactions. There's a quote, I guess he said, you bit the shit out of it. Something to that effect. Then there's another quote, get this little bitch the hell out of here. There's a bunch of redactions. Whoever the person, what the child was advised she bit Trump's penis. He was disgusted about it. At the point, people re-entered the room. Again, there's redactions on this page. Some woman entered the room and said, let me give you a tip, little girl, about your, again, these are like a lot of redactions. They felt that the relationship between Epstein and Trump was some jealousy. She thought Trump appeared jealous of him, but at some point they ended up on level playing fields. Trump used terms like, these are quotes, fresh meat he wanted them untainted. That's how he referred to the girls. Just stuff like that. I mean, if there is something like that in a file about Trump or anyone else, right? Not just about him or anyone else. This is who you should be talking about, not talking to, not Hillary Clinton. Like, why aren't we talking to survivors, right? Survivors, Trump came out and said he was exonerated because none of the survivors are mentioning him. There's only about 20 or so survivors that are actually speaking out right now, but there were 500 to 1,000 girls and boys that were trafficked through Epstein's island. They are terrified and they are afraid. And that's why the women now are not mentioning names. And that's why this person who did this interview, because I didn't have each interview, but the FBI did ask her, well, what do you want to do? And she's like, what could I do, right? Because at that point, he was president. What is she going to do? because there's also evidence in the files that Trump and Epstein threatened these girls. So what are you going to do? He's president. You can't just say that. You just cannot. So that happened. Also, what happened was Hillary Clinton was interviewed by Comer and Boebert and whatever else, because they figured they needed to depose her because they needed a foil. They just needed someone to just like, they just like her. They think that they're harassing Hillary Clinton, but Hillary Clinton is just way too smart, smarter than all of them. She made them look like idiots. Again, this stuff is posted as well. You can find it. You probably can find it on YouTube too. Here are a couple of clips from her deposition, which she actually wanted public. She wanted it public. She wanted people to see it because it was so ridiculous. Because why are you talking to me about Jeffrey Epstein? Why are you talking to me? You should be talking to Melania, to be honest, because Melania was there all the time. Wasn't Melania Epstein's ex-girlfriend as well? Like, stop playing. Make it make sense. But let's listen to Hillary Clinton.
Excuse me, can I interrupt? Support my friend Nia Lowy.
All right.
Let me just tee this up. This is the moment that Hillary Clinton found out that Lauren Boebert took a picture of her and then sent it to one of the MAGA podcasters to like do whatever the frick they're going to do with it. Now, this is after they had agreed that that was not going to happen because it's a private deposition. She wanted to do it public, but they said, no, we're doing it private. So if it's private, you don't get to take pictures. So this is what happened.
My friend Nia Lowy.
All right.
Excuse me, can I interrupt?
I have
There
another.
are photos that are being released of the secretary as she is testifying from inside this room. Can you please advise me as to whether or not that's permissible and consistent with the rules, particularly given that we have asked for a public hearing? If there are photos that are being released of the secretary as she is testifying, can you please explain how that
I'm
can
done
occur?
with this. If you guys are doing that, I am done. You can hold me in contempt from now until the cows come home. This is just typical behavior.
We will go off the record.
Oh, for heaven's
So I would like
sake.
to understand how that's permissible.
Before the hearing was,
It doesn't
Excuse
matter.
me.
We all are abiding by the same rules.
I will take that down.
Yeah,
So
well,
I would like to take a break at this moment.
yeah,
and I'd like to have
I'm
a
done
conversation.
for now.
Go off the record.
Hillary's the boss. It's like, you guys wanted it private. So why are we taking pictures of her? And then she continues, this next clip, I wish I could just have a lot of clips because, again, she schools them. And this particular clip is like, she's schooling them on patterns and practices. Like, basically, I have no pattern. There is no practice with me. Why am I here? I didn't know him. I've never been to his island. Why aren't you talking to Donald Trump?
And as a lawyer, I was a lawyer. And as a lawyer, you would look for pattern and practice. If you were deposing a witness in a case that you were trying, if you were in court, what did you know about this person? What you knew could influence how you questioned that person, how you tried the case. Donald Trump has been held civilly liable for sexual assault by a jury of his peers. 9 members of a jury found him liable in the sexual assault of E. Jean Carroll. That is behavior. That fits a pattern if one were looking for a pattern. He has also been convicted on 34 felony counts for attempting to hide his relationship with an escort and then to commit business fraud to prevent it from becoming public in the 2016 campaign, which was ultimately election interference. So if I were running the committee or I were involved in this investigation, I would be looking for people who maybe had some prior conduct that might be relevant to either money or crimes. And yes, I think that it would be in keeping with the scope of the investigation of this committee to set up a deposition with President Trump. I know he's been deposed many, many, many times. He's taken the Fifth Amendment many, many hundreds of times. So I'm not saying you're going to get a lot of information. But given what's in the files and given past and prior conduct, he would be on my witness list.
Absolutely. Like that's a no-brainer. It's, again, like she said, patterns and practices. He has patterns. He is the guy who bragged about walking in on naked teen girls during his pageants. He is the guy who sexualized his daughter. He is the guy who talked about his daughter's breast. He is the guy that said sex with troubled teens is the best sex ever. He is also the guy who was found liable of rape. He is the guy who was credibly accused of rape by dozens of women. He is also the guy who has 34 felonies? Like, stop playing. And this is the guy MAGA voted for. They're like, yeah, he's the best. He's the best. No, he's the best because the MAGA agenda is the racist agenda. Like, it's the white nationalism. So they don't care that 92,000 jobs have been lost. They don't care if gas prices are up. They don't care about pedophilia. If he's involved, they don't care. Well, I don't know. Who cares? Like, I don't know. How old are they? I mean, yeah, they don't care, right? They just wipe it all away if he is involved, because that is their God. That is their God. They don't care. I watched, what's that woman's name? Paula White go from asking her congregation to donate like $100,000 because she's a grifter, to then laying hands on Donald Trump with a bunch of other fake Christians, acting like this man is God. It's like, he don't care about none of this. They pretend. They wear these crosses because they always, like, Christianity is the weapon of choice. And it's like, if they do things in the name of Christianity, they know that it's like MAGA flock to that. Like, I mean, they would lynch Black people after church. Like, that's the go-to is Christianity. And there's nothing Christian about not anything that these people are doing. Donald Trump could care less. He couldn't even tell you a book in the Bible, a chapter, a name. Like, he can't, none of it. He has no clue about it. So it's ridiculous. But let's move on to our girl, Kristi Noem, who was fired this week. Justice for Cricket. Justice for Cricket. Cricket is the dog that she shot. Not even a dog. It's a puppy. I think he was like 14 months old that she shot because she said he was untrainable because she took him hunting and he was just all over the place. Like, girl, what? He's a puppy. Like, stop playing. Or like a teenager at 14 months. Like, she's so gross. But anyway, she was fired. Let's, do we want to take a look at some of her? Yeah. Let's take a look at some of her testimony on the Hill. She was there twice. She testified before the House, and she also testified before the Senate, and she was eviscerated both times. She's definitely not like Bondi, who is defiant, who is disrespectful, who is mean. Noem, she just, I mean, again, they hit her on everything from the new jets that she wants to that business that she gave a contract to. So let's start by listening to some of her testimony, and then we'll just talk about it.
Of an airplane.
Right, let's go. Here we go.
Sir, I'm looking at a picture of an interior, looks like a bedroom.
So they're asking her about this jet because Kristi she has 2 jets, and she's trying to get another jet, and the jet has like this fancy bedroom that you would see in, like, I don't know, in a magazine, and it's a jet, and she was trying to act like, no, this is going to be for deportees and not me. But it's like, girl, what are you talking about? You literally married, but flying around with your also married lover, but y'all ain't married to each other. Actually, that is her husband behind her. And Corey Lewandowski, who is her special government employee, is also married. But these 2 people, Corey and Kristi, spend a lot of time together on these jets. As a matter of fact, Corey fires people for Kristi. For example, she left her blanket. She wanted to change jets because one jet just wasn't going to do it. She was in a mood for a different type of jet. So she got onto the other jet, and the I don't know, the stewardesses or whomever did not bring her blanket over. So she got pissed off. So Corey came to her rescue, and he fired the pilot. And then they're like, oh, if we fire the pilot, who's going to fly the jet? So they had to rehire the pilot so that he could fly their jet. And then she got her blanket. But anyway, let's continue with the questioning here and her answer.
Of an airplane.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
You're not familiar with that?
These photos are not accurate. If you're referring to the airplanes that the Department of Homeland Security has purchased and are purchasing, we're using them for long-range command and control aircraft that is dictated in statute by Congress for the Department of Homeland Security to have a plane.
Luxury jet with a bedroom in it?
Yeah, we used a 737. I've been on it once, but it is being used by other administration officials, and it is used for command and control flights for the department. The department has found that in purchasing our aircraft, that we will save the taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars.
Does it have a bedroom
in fact, we spent $1.442 billion on ICE deportation flights last year.
Does it have a bedroom in it?
I believe it's being refurbished and not having a bedroom in it. So it is being refurbished.
What kind of deportee justifies being flown out of the country in a luxury jet with a bedroom and accommodations like this?
There are aircraft being purchased that will be utilized for executive air travel and for deportations.
Well,
if you remember in the past, we have used
deportation.
She said that luxury airline is going to be used for deportations. Are we joking right now? Deporting whom? Like what? The immigrants that you're abusing on the streets and treating like animals, you're going to treat them like animals on the street, and then you're going to put them on a luxury jet? Are they going to sleep in that bed too? Like, stop playing, Kristi. What's wrong with you, girl? Stop it.
We have used jets of this size and this configuration for deportations in the past. If you remember
In this configuration, by this.
Look at her husband's face. Look at her husband's face behind her. It's wild.
Configuration, you mean with
I didn't
a bedroom
see the
and
inside
luxury
of them.
accommodations like this
That
you've
plane-
used for deportations. Is that true?
Sir, we have 737s that are being purchased by the department to replace contracts that we have on ICE deportations.
Let's keep going. Let's just keep going. I don't even need to talk. Let's listen to some more. Here's some more questioning.
Security. Have you had sexual relations with Corey Lewandowski?
Mr. Chairman, I am shocked that we're going down and peddling tabloid garbage in this committee today.
Reclaiming
and
my
ma'am,
time.
one thing that I would tell you is that he is a special government employee who works for the White House. There are thousands of them in the federal government.
So reclaiming
and
my
is an
time,
advisor
Secretary, it is
and has
okay for
no,
you to be
no
offended
authority
by
to
the
be
question.
making any
It is
decisions.
okay for you to
has
be
no
offended
authority
by the
to
question.
be making
But it is
decisions
also
and
a
putting
real
up your
question.
position. So what I would say
And
to
you should be able to
is
answer
that
the
what we do
question
at the Department of Homeland Security
clearly
every single
and without
day,
any hesitation.
every single day is to protect
If
this
someone
country
is
and
asking
to make
if
decisions.
you or any federal official is sleeping with their subordinate, that should be the easiest. You should be wanting to answer that question.
Is garbage?
Because it is not about
It is
your sex
offensive
life.
that you have brought
It is
that up.
about your
So
judgment.
that kind of garbage
It is
has
about
been refuted
reclaiming
for
my
years,
time so
and
that
you
I
need
can
to
hear myself.
recognize-
Time belongs to the gentlelady from California, but it'd be nice if you would let her respond.
I will. I want to let you know it is about your judgment and decision-making. It is about the 260,000 employees that work under you that want to make sure that you are giving information and making decisions clearly. It is about conflict of interest. It is about a national security risk.
Absolutely. Sleeping with a subordinate is just not a good thing. Also, don't look good to the staff because you married and he married and y'all just, it's not a secret at DHS. And that's the thing. And it's crazy that she knew that she couldn't say no. Even with her husband there, she could not say no because she knew it's so true. And it's crazy because they lie about everything else. She could not lie about that. I have a sneaky suspicion that since she's been fired, her husband probably will finally file for divorce because they were just trying to keep up the appearances. Like, that is so crazy. A special employee with what benefits? Like, stop, girl. There was another line of questioning from lawmaker Naguse, and he asked her about this company. Let me see if I can get this straight. In simplistic terms, this is what happened. A company got a government contract 8 days after they organized as a company. You know what I'm saying? Like 8 days after they incorporated, because they did not exist before. There's no existence of this company before. This company has ties to, I don't know, Kristi Noem's former assistant. Like, this is how crazy, some nonsense like that. But they got a government contract. So it's just like, you're just wheeling and dealing, like you're giving your friends these government contracts. And again, that's what they're all doing, right? That's why they're not deporting a lot of immigrants. They're holding them in these private prison camps. And why are they in prison if they're not committing crimes other than if they're undocumented? And some of these people aren't even undocumented. They're ripping up their paperwork and just grabbing them and holding them because they are private prisons and they want their buddies to make all of this money. That's why they're trying to put private prisons all over the place because, again, there's money in it, right? So that's what they're doing, wheeling and dealing. And it's interesting that people are like, well, Donald Trump fired her because he was embarrassed, or Donald Trump fired her because I don't know which part. He didn't fire her because of the affair. He did not fire Kristi Noem because she gave this contract to this company that just organized like 8 days before getting the contract. He didn't fire her because DHS and ICE agents are running around killing Americans. He didn't fire her for any of those things. He fired her because she got caught. And actually, they were saying that, oh no, she got fired because she did that commercial. Remember with Kristi Noem. Kristi Noem's face is in some certain airports Kristi Noem has commercials about DHS that features Kristi Noem. And like one of the commercials costs like, I don't know, $200 million or something ridiculous. And it's just her makeup artist. She's on this horse. Like she's spending a lot of money. So people are saying like he fired her because of that, because she said that she had approval from the president, from Donald Trump. So they're saying, you know, he was mad over that. And I'm like, well, he's not mad about that commercial, but he's probably mad because she brought his name into it, because that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do like Bondi. Like you never, if someone's hammering you on something bad that you did, you don't say that he told you to do it. You leave your name, you take the hit, you take the brunt, you fall on that sword for him. And I feel like because she didn't fall on the sword, she was just like, well, I got permission. That's why she was out. Like it just became, it was too much, too public for him. He does not like that part. Like, yeah, she was no longer useful. But it's interesting because then he gave her like some other job. What is she? Ambassador to the Shields, like whatever the Shields is, hasn't been created, but that's her new job in the government. And that's so that she keeps her benefits, she keeps getting a paycheck, and she will keep her mouth closed because he has to give her something so that she doesn't write a book or that she doesn't talk about what's really going on. So that's how mob bosses operate. Like, okay, we'll take care of you and the family. You know, you just keep your mouth shut. Like that's basically what that is. So Cricket is vindicated. I didn't have the clip of Tillis, who is a Republican, not up for re-election. He dragged her through the mud. He talked about, you know, her shooting her dog Cricket and how she lacks judgment. Like he just dragged her. So we don't have that. But Kristi Noem is gone. Everyone is celebrating. However, she is being replaced by that big idiot, Markwayne Mullin. He is that guy who, during a hearing with a union rep, I believe it was, and they got into a disagreement, and he told him to did he tell him to sit his butt down? And he's like, no, you sit your butt down. And then he took off his wedding ring like he was about to fight. Like that guy, he's just really stupid. But he is now going to be the head of DHS. The interesting thing about that is Donald Trump recently bragged about the end of DEI. It's over, yay! But it's like, they are DEI. None of them. They're all unqualified for the positions that they have. They just have privilege. And they obey him. Like none of them are qualified. Kristi wasn't qualified. Hegseth isn't qualified. Markwayne Mullin to run a whole agency, no military experience, no law degree, no college degree. Well, he has a community college degree in construction. So that guy is running a whole agency, and he has a 2-year degree in construction. But Ketanji Brown, she was the DEI Supreme Court Justice, the woman who went to Harvard Law School. Ketanji edited the law review. She practiced law for 20 years. She was a federal judge for 10 years. Republicans called her DEI, Ketanji. She's the DEI, but Markwayne Mullin is the guy who's worthy to run an agency with a community college degree in construction. That's where we're at. Make it make sense. It just won't. It won't make sense. It will never make sense. But how long have we been going? I feel like I've been 59 minutes. Okay, let's wrap up. So this is a touchy one. There was Uh, the primary was held Tuesday. Texas was the big one. Jasmine Crockett versus James Tallarico. I love them both. Like, it's just one of those things. I'm not in Texas, so this was not my hard decision to make. But I'm pretty sure for some people that it was a very, very hard decision because they were just Democrats had, great candidates and are offering up great candidates. Jasmine brought all the fire and all the heat, and she was not afraid to go at these people, at these Republicans, and even Democrats if need be. And James Tallarico just had a way of talking to everyone. He was even on Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan was like, yo, no one's explained that to me like that. You should be president. So, like, he just has a way, and maybe because he's a minister. So he did win the primary. So there were problems with people going to the wrong uh, polling place because it had been changed, the rules had been changed. So they got turned away and had to go miles and miles to their district polling areas. So a lot of votes got stopped because Kim Paxton had them stopped. I guess a judge wanted the stations to be open until 9, but that did not happen. I'm unclear that Jasmine would have won even if they kept them open. Unclear about that, but she did call to congratulate him the next day. She did not challenge it. So those camps were fighting all the way leading up to the primary. Crockett and Tallarico are friends, but the camps were definitely warring it out. So it's going to be hard for Tallarico to get her supporters. So he does have work to do. She has urged her supporters to, rally around Tallarico. It's going to be hard. I've read some things that are really disturbing. I've read some guy was like, you don't have to vote for Senate Texas, just vote for the governor. We have to get Abbott out of there. And I'm just like, no, because the goal, our focus has to continue to be the Senate and the House. We need Congress. So we need that seat if we're going to put a check on Donald Trump. We have to have that seat. So it's definitely the Senate and it's the governor. I mean, like, Texas is going through some things. They are really trying to take Texas back to a different time where, Black folks ain't voting, forcing children to have a rapist babies. Women don't have freedom of choice of their bodies. They're banning books. So, like, Texas is the state. So, I mean, I would not advise doing that. And I understand that Tallarico has to earn the vote. And I think he understands that as well. Maybe he did not do enough to show that he needed the Black vote. Again, I am not in Texas, but what I've read is that he has done some things for the HBCUs and other things because he is in the state Senate, right? So I don't know. He's got to win the vote, but I do hear he made inways with the Hispanics. And since he is a minister, and since Texas is very, very, I don't call it fake Christian, but religious, religious white folks there, he can probably turn some votes. And that's kind of what he had been doing before Jasmine got into the race, because before it was just Tallarico that was running. And he had been doing town halls with Republicans, trying to get them to turn, because Texas is just a huge state and you cannot win Texas with just the Black vote. You were never going to do that. And you also cannot win Texas with just like Hispanics. black vote cut in half. Like, you have to just really get them all to win Texas. So he does have a good chance definitely against Paxton. So I'm sure Democrats, they're in a runoff. The Republicans is Paxton and Cornyn. So I know Democrats want Paxton to win because he is a very damaged candidate. His own people try to get rid of him because, he's there's fraud. His wife divorced him for biblical reasons. Like, it's just a lot going on with Paxton, but we like to see it. And we would love for Tallarico to run against Paxton. I'm just going to play Tallarico for a little bit. I think it's too long to play the full thing because I do want to get to Obama. But I am going to play some of Tallarico just in case some people don't know who he is. And again, I am sitting in a comfortable blue state. So I understand how Texans are feeling about Tallarico if you are a Jasmine Crockett supporter. But I also feel like at some point we have to unite, and hopefully Tallarico can get your votes, get out there, have Black people engaged and helping with his campaign and doing all those things. And I'm sure that he will.
Versus bottom. Divide in our country is not left versus right. It's top versus bottom. Billionaires want us looking left and right at each other so that we're not looking up at them. The people at the top work so hard to keep us angry and divided because our unity is a threat to their wealth and their power. So their social media algorithms and their cable news networks tear us apart. They divide us by party, by race, by gender, by religion, so that we don't notice that they're defunding our schools, gutting our healthcare, and cutting taxes for themselves and their rich friends. It is the oldest strategy in the world: divide and conquer. But we will not be conquered. We're underdogs in this fight. We're going up against those billionaire mega donors and their puppet politicians. We're going up against a rigged system, and we're going up against a lot of money.
So I don't want to play it all because it's like 3 minutes long, but that's just a taste of Tallarico. And again, I hope that he reaches the people that he needs to reach and the people who felt disenfranchised and Jasmine Crockett supporters. And I also hope that because Tallarico is her friend, that she is able to work with him to, flip that seat. Lastly, so we can get out of here, Jesse Jackson's memorial service was this week. It was spectacular. It was beautiful. I could only get like one speaker up here, and there was so many. Al Sharpton did a wonderful job. Biden was awesome. He looked great. He sounded great. Just perfect. Clinton, just all of them. Kamala was there. They were all there. But I do just want to play Obama in closing. And rest in peace to Jesse Jackson. We definitely lost a giant. So let's listen to Obama.
In a time when it can be hard to hope, each day we wake up to some new assault on our democratic institutions. Another setback to the idea of the rule of law. An offense to common decency. Every day you wake up to things you just didn't think were possible. Each day we're told by those in high office to fear each other and to turn on each other, and that some Americans count more than others, and that some don't even count at all. everywhere we see greed and bigotry being celebrated and bullying and mockery masquerading as strength. We see science and expertise denigrated while ignorance and dishonesty and cruelty and corruption are reaping untold rewards. Every single day we see that. And it's hard to hope in those moments. So it may be tempting to get discouraged, to give in to cynicism. It may be tempting for some to compromise with power and grab what you can, or even for good people to maybe just put your head down and wait for the storm to pass. But this man, Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson, inspires us to take a harder path.
Let's take the harder path, y'all. Have a good weekend. Enjoy your Saturday. Sun is starting to shine over here, so I'm happy about that. But be safe out there. Thank you for coming, everyone. I will see you probably in a couple of weeks. Talk to you all later. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Baby Juggernaut, for showing up. Thank you, everyone else in the chat. Again, see you in a couple of weeks. Be safe out there. It's crazy.